The let's see, what else? The inverter, 750 watt inverter. I don't know if you can see it. It's down there in that black hole. And then what I would do is I run that white extension cord from the inverter over the wheel well, and just have the cord, end of the cord, just laying right here. My laptop is an older PC. Anyway, the battery is bad on the thing, so in order for me to use it, I have to have it plugged in. So I turn the inverter on, plug it into the extension cord right here, and sit on the bed or sit right here where I'm sitting right now, and unload videos from my phone and from my Mobius camera that I put on the dash when those cards get full, and I would put them on the computer using the solar power and the battery bank to power that laptop. And then I have fresh empty cards in both the phone and the computer, or phone and the Mobius camera, to do more videotaping, and that really worked out fine. It created no issues whatsoever. That's the only thing that I used the inverter for on this trip. It's nice to have. I suppose I could probably think of other things that I could use it for, but for this particular trip, that's the only thing I used it for. Let's see. That pretty well covers the coffee maker. Worked out really good, just like my demo video, and that's how it worked every single day. Wake up. Oh, okay, so I just told you a lie. Actually, I used the inverter to power that as well. It takes, I don't know, what would I say, 2% of my battery to run a pot of coffee. Most days we just run one pot, which is 4 cups. I'd have a cup and my wife would have a cup. And I think one of the days I ran a couple pots through there, but it was the battery was fully charged up a couple hours later, and it's like it never even happened. So that was totally cool. It worked out really well. And that's a small coffee maker. We stored it right there for the whole trip, so it wouldn't slide out of the storage area. It's a little bit taller than that rail, and it just rode right there just fine. This area right here, in the refrigerator and along here and underneath that edge, and all around here by my feet, this area we popped into a excuse me, we popped into a rest stop once and cranked open the doors to let the dog out, walk around, and use the restrooms, and that entire area was soaking wet with water. And what had happened is we bought a water container from Walmart. I think it was a 2.5 gallon container, and we had it just sitting right here. And what happened is, what the valve that you pull the water out of, I didn't get it shut tight, and it leaked water over a couple of hours of driving and soaked this entire area. There's probably a gallon or so of water that had leaked here. So I was pretty concerned about the laminate flooring and all of that, and mold issues and all that kind of stuff. So we had to kind of rearrange things here. I pulled this carpet up and lifted it up and laid it up on the bed so that it was suspended here. And we rolled down all the windows, turned the AC off, and we went a couple hours down the road like that. And by the time we had stopped the next time we pulled over to check it out, everything was dry again. There was just a couple of areas here where I had to lift up this box and let it air out underneath the box, let the carpet air out. So that was the one issue that we ran into, but that was our fault totally because of that water container. And it seems to be no damage because of that. Everything was dried out and cleaned up within a few hours of it actually occurring. So if you get one of those water containers, you know, be careful with it. Maybe it would be nice if I had it stored in one of those Sterilite containers, because that way it would not if it leaked, it would just be maintained in the container. So what we did, we tossed that 2.5 gallon container that we had the water in, and went to a Walmart and picked up 1 gallon jugs. And that's what we'll do next time, is just get 1 gallon jugs. And the 1 gallon jugs fit right here on this step perfectly. We actually had 3 of them right here. So even if they did leak, it would run out and just go out the door there and out onto the road. So that's what we're going to do next time for water storage, instead of storing water up here inside the floor and on the camper floor there. So what else? Battery bank, solar power capabilities, all of that was just fine. We had really no problems with any of that. As far as the van reliability and running and drivability, it was extremely comfortable. I mean, we put in 1 or 2 of those days. Well, the last day when we drove from Iowa back to our house, we put in a 14-hour day behind the wheel. I drove the majority of that, but my wife did drive a few hours of it, and it was just comfortable. You could put a lot of miles on this van comfortably. The seats were fine, it drives nice, power is there if you need it, and the cruise works with the AC. It just, you know, what else would you expect? It worked out really well. In the back here, I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see it. We have 1 more of those Sterilite containers, so we have a total of 4 of them. And this one in the back, I just kept things like tools, things that we wouldn't need that often. I don't think I even really got into it. I would store my toolbox right there. We got a bucket with a toilet seat lid on it, and we put a trash can liner in there with some sawdust. We would put that up in the front on the floor at nighttime for emergencies. We did use it once. Actually, we used it twice. But other than that, most of the time we would just get out of the van and go over to the restroom, because we were parked really close to the restrooms at these campsites. But there was one time where the wife had gone over to the showers, and I was stuck babysitting the dog and needed to use the restroom. So I did an emergency usage of that bucket in the van, and it was fine. It was not a problem, and my wife had the same scenario. She did the same thing at one point, but that's the only time we used it. And then we just took the bag and pull it out, tie a knot in it, and toss it in the dumpster there at the campsite. What else? The fan worked out really nice. A couple times we used it to blow the air down on us at nighttime to help keep cool, and most of the time going the other direction, pulling the air out of the van with cool air circulating in from the side windows. So all in all, it was a good trip. Positive thoughts on the van. The camera mount on the dash worked out really well. It was a comfortable trip, and all the systems and lights and everything worked out well. A couple of things that I would do differently, and I'm going to actually modify the van, is up in the front area there. We had several moments where we were gonna we wanted to store something small or hang up a water bottle or something. So I think I'm gonna make a little board right here with some hooks on it, so we can hang coffee cups and water bottles and that sort of thing. And then I may get some of those shoe storage, the cloth things, and screw them onto this wooden windowsill rail hanging down, so we have pockets for some storage for small items like cell phones, cameras, maybe flip-flop shoes, shower shoes, and soap and that sort of thing. I was going to build a cabinet here in this area at one point, but I don't think I need to do that. I'm happy with the way it worked out. So some storage for small items, and then on the doors, on the swing out door, and there's several people with van videos where they built a little table that flips down and then pops up and is supported, so you have a little table outside. Put your camp stove on there or whatever. I may build something like that, but other than that, I don't really think I need to modify anything for our needs. It's everything else is pretty good, unless I come up with some sort of a fix for this bed to make it a little easier to lift. I guess work out more or something, huh? Anyway, guys, I hope I've answered most of your questions and covered everything about the van and how it worked out for us on our trip. This is getting to be pretty long, probably the longest video I've made. I guess I like to ramble on. So I'm going to cut this off, and like I said, if you have questions or something I didn't cover, or certainly throw it in the comments, and I'll get you an answer within a couple days or so. Maybe even that day if you get it to me on the weekend. So I hope you're all doing well. Have a good rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you all later.